Good morning and welcome to One Truth with Lisaid. And here we are building families for eternity. Are you new to the channel? Welcome. We are so delighted that you have joined us today, and we will keep you motivated and encouraged daily. And I would also love to request that you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, give us a like, and also shout out with a comment. We'll really appreciate. As we study the history of the Jews with regard to the 7-day Sabbath, the natural question will come as to whether God intended the Sabbath to be only for the Jews. Was that God's purpose? Let's allow Jesus to answer that in Mark chapter 2, verse 27 to 28. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for men, and not men for the Sabbath. Therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. The Sabbath was not made for the Jews only, but for all of mankind. So this is why Jesus is the Lord of the Sabbath. And when we look at that, many times we may look to Mount Sinai when Moses brought the children of Israel out of Egypt as the first time the Sabbath was introduced. But when I read the fourth commandment, it begins in an unusual way. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Exodus 20 verse 8. And the word remember is a reminder. It is not something brand new. So after that matter, the Sabbath commandment existed before they even got to Mount Sinai. In Exodus chapter 16, verse 4 to 5, they were given specific instructions regarding the keeping of the Sabbath day. As we read in here, Exodus 16, verse 4 to 5. Then said the Lord unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. So before God spoke the 10 commandments from the mountain, he gave them manna and tested them to see if they would walk in the law or not. So how could he test them if there was no law at all? So some individuals went out to gather the manna anyway during the sacred Sabbath hours. We read from Exodus 16 verse 27 to 30. And it came to pass that they went out some of the people on the 7th day to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. This is what we find in here. And why would God ask, how long refuse you to keep my commandments and my laws? When they violated the Sabbath by trying to gather on that day. If there was no such law in existence, you don't ask this type of question if it is the first offense or if it is a brand new law. So from this, we can clearly see that before Sinai, the 7th day Bible Sabbath was observed. And this was not an isolated problem in the wilderness. A great deal of the trouble in their sojourn that delayed their entrance to the promised land was on this very point of Sabbath breaking. Ezekiel 20 verse 10 to 13. Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt, and brought them into the wilderness, and I gave them my statutes, and shewed them my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. Moreover also I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord that sanctify them. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes, and they despised my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them, and my Sabbaths shall greatly polluted. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them. This is Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 10 to 13. So when God proclaimed the 10 commandments in the wilderness, he reminded the children of Israel that the Sabbath was not something new. It was an institution established when this world was created. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy servant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy keki, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For, or because, in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 to 11. So now as we continue looking at this very wonderful subject, so the reason given the Israelites for keeping the 7th day Bible Sabbath is because our Creator gave that example when he made this world and he hallowed that day. So this institution was not something that pointed to a future redemption as the ceremonial laws given at Sinai. Rather, its reason for observance pointed to a time before sin entered the world, to the perfection of the Garden of Eden, the original paradise of God. So we can read the original command in the book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 to 3. At the end of creation week, thus heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them, and on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. So the 7th-day Sabbath was first instituted and then sanctified on earth the day after Adam and Eve were created. Thank you for spending this precious moment with me. I really appreciate. And if you have got questions, you are all invited to always leave them down below on the comment section, and we'll come back to you.